How about this? The U.S. Park Police are...
Let's start by storming Blackgate!
What's going on, everyone? So welcome to my latest video. This is, of course, my review for Mass, which is a 2021 independent drama film that's in theaters. And like I've been saying with most movies coming out in 2020 and 2021, I had no idea what this movie was about. I saw it was playing at AMC, I saw the cast, and I was like, yep, I'm going to watch this movie. And also, of course, supporting independent films. This was a movie, again, I knew nothing about going into, so I'm going to just say this. If you want to know the premise, I'll put it down below in the description. But for those of you that have seen the movie, again, not going to talk spoilers, but wow, what a solid movie. This is a movie that, especially considering it's from a directorial debut of an actor who was in Cabin in the Woods as a stoner, it's quite impressive. I will say that early on, I could definitely tell I was in good hands because the movie took its time with really establishing the setting. And I also really like the double meaning behind the title, Mass. See, the title Mass, obviously when I went into the movie, I was obviously thinking, okay, because the movie takes place in a church, that's the reason why it's called Mass. But it's not the only reason. I was thinking about it today, actually, driving home from work. Obviously, I watched this movie yesterday. Driving home from work today, I was like, the movie Mass, I was like, they didn't really do Mass. And I was like, oh, shoot. It's a double meaning, mass shooting. And it just blew my mind. Again, I know a lot of people are probably like, well, duh, Chad, but it really kind of hit home where I was like, wow, they did a really good job picking the title. And I think that a lot of times people don't understand, but like the title of a movie really does set something up for a selling point in terms of like thinking about it. Like afterwards, I don't know about a lot of other people, but a title will make me think, or it would just be kind of a throwaway title. And the movie Mass definitely has a title that's memorable, for sure. But that's not the only thing that's memorable. I think the biggest thing for this movie has going for, besides obviously the symbolic title, is the fact that you have 4 lead performances that are incredible. Every single performance does such a stellar job at really, really hitting home the emotions. You don't feel like you're watching 4 actors. You feel like you're watching 4 characters. And I have to say, by the end of the movie, you definitely understood all 4 point of views, which obviously was the intention of the director. And bravo, I have to say. Now, this movie obviously is dealing with touchy subject matters, for sure. There's no question about that, no getting around that. And I have to say, I think for the most part, it's done very delicately. And I think that that's honestly the best way of going about it, because I feel like if you were preaching either which way, you could obviously make it so that way it's less gray than like black and white. And I think that obviously the black and white approach would have been kind of like, less interesting. So I like that they went for like a gray area in terms of the storytelling. And I have to say, obviously in terms of the story, there's not many plots per se going on in the story. But the basic premise, the acting, the symbolism, I think that it's enough to really sell the movie. I also thought the cinematography was very interesting in that it's nothing stellar and where it's like, oh my goodness, it's mind-blowing. But I did think that it was interesting how, honestly, there was a lot of long takes where they used obviously probably like a tripod and the camera didn't move at all, and it was literally just to establish the environment. And I think that's the best thing this movie has going for in that regards in terms of the cinematography. They do such a great job of establishing the environment. And I know a lot of people are going to say, well, it takes place in one room, Chad, one setting. But it's not really necessarily that. It's that you have that room and then you have the outside of the church right before, obviously, you get into that main room. And I think that it's very interesting how they set those up. I think they do a good job with that early on. The dialogue also is very repetitive. And hear me out, repetitive in this case is not a bad thing. Usually when you hear repetitive, it means it's a bad thing. But in this case, because the movie's going for realism, I think the repetitive nature is very necessary. Because let's face it, in real life, especially if you've known someone for quite some time, you're going to probably speak in a repetitive turn of nature. You're probably going to say one thing, and then literally 10 minutes later, the conversation is going to get right back to that point of what you mentioned literally to start the conversation, but you're just going to have like a different variation of it. And that's, from my experience, obviously everyone's experience different, but this movie does that. And I thought that watching it really made for an impactful viewing because, again, it just drew me in with the realism. And definitely going for it was a really, really well done choice, I think, personally. Other thing I wanted to mention is that, and this is something that, again, I was just noticing, was that going back to the cinematography, again, I just mentioned that, The cinematography, I might not have just been paying attention like a lot, but the aspect ratio, I believe, did change. And if it did, I know what they were going for. Obviously, with the change of the aspect ratio, it's like, they use the black bars to get closer, so that way audiences are kind of in tune more. So they realize, like, hey, this is getting even more emotional. And forgot to also mention, but the camera work. The camera work in terms of not only just being stable, it also has it towards the end when things get even more heated and intense, and even sprinkled throughout, they use handheld camera work to really kind of give that jittery feeling of like as if you're there. And I think that contrast with, again, those tripod-esque shots really, really work. So again, there's a lot to appreciate this movie, but I can't lie, this movie had like 3 or 4 ways of ending towards the end, and I was like, okay, when's this going to end? Not that I wasn't liking this movie. Again, I found it to be interesting, but there was just a lot of points toward the end where I was like, you could have ended here, you could have ended here. And I think that even with what they're going for, with how they did end it, again, could have ended like 10, 15 minutes prior. So I think this movie would have been a bit better if it was like 90 minutes long. And also, I don't know how the rewatchability value is going to be for this movie because, again, it is a movie that it's going to be hard enough to get some viewers to watch this even once. So to watch it many more times, I don't know. But for me personally, again, Mass, it's a rock solid movie, great acting, a lot of themes and messages to chew on, and again, stellar cinematography that was very symbolic. That obviously matches the symbolic title. So Mass for me personally, it's not perfect, but I'll be giving a 3.5 and a 5-star rating, which for those like a hot sauce rating, gets the good old Texas Pete hot sauce. So yeah, this was a rock solid movie. I'm curious to hear your guys' thoughts on Mass. I'm filming this on a Tuesday night. It's still in theaters. I don't know how much longer it's going to be in theaters, but check it out, guys. Again, it's as of the filming of this video, it's November 9th. I know it's probably going to be about a week or so when I actually release this video. But guys, please check out Mass, whether it's in theaters or on demand. Please check it out. And as always, if you have seen it, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Don't forget the subscription, notification bell, and I'll catch you guys later.